What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back in. I'm JC, your host here on JC's Pop Culture, where we could be talking any pop culture topic, given any whatever day it is. You never know what it's going to be. Movie review, movie news. Today, it's a series review. We're going to be reviewing Ted, the new series out on Peacock, actually a prequel to the first two Ted films from Seth MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane returns here for the Ted series, writing and directing every episode. No Mark Wahlberg here as far as the cast is concerned. He is on as a producer, but I would argue this is one of the best installments of the Ted franchise to this point, despite the fact that you're talking a series here on Peacock, 7 episodes. But man, I was really surprised by how good this was and how funny this was. I was laughing my ass off throughout a lot of this series, guys. So definitely going to be more positive review throughout, although it's not 100% positive. I think towards the end of the series, it took a bit of a turn right around, I'd say, episode 5 or 6. I'm going to keep this review as spoiler free as possible, but they introduce a new character and some other elements that may make you feel, some type of way, may throw you off a little bit and make you, downgrade the series a little bit in some aspects, but I think they bring it back around in the finale and really bring it home well. So for me, I was kind of feeling like, I don't know, you were doing so good. But then I think they, kind of course corrected, got back to the good stuff they were doing throughout, the first fucking great 4 or 5 episodes. And so really ultimately at the end, I ended up enjoying this series a lot. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's on Peacock now. It came out about a week ago, I think, at this point. Like I said, Seth MacFarlane comes back, writes and directs every episode. And then you get a really great cast that I think is what is the selling point here. Obviously, Seth MacFarlane back as the voice of Ted, the CGI teddy bear there, really fucking hilarious. But the thing with it is I was actually surprised to see this come out. I hadn't heard anything about it coming out because you guys know one thing I'm always bitching and complaining about here on the channel is it seems like we don't hardly get any more R-rated comedies anymore. Just a lot of the things and the times that we live in makes it hard to do that. So I'm surprised that we are not only getting one in Ted, but you get one with such a character like Ted that is so, vulgar, perverse, and, misogynistic in a lot of ways as well. But I think that the way that you can do that and make it work is you have to have a foil for that character, a character that's anti that character, that points out that some of the things that he's saying is fucked up and, makes him, feel bad about it. And also maybe makes him learn from it a little bit, even some throughout this series, which is one of the things that I thought was really cool in this series because they do have that in this series. And the one character that they introduce is the niece character in the family here, and it's played by Georgia Wingham, and she did an amazing job throughout the series. Actually became one of my favorite characters in this show, the character of Blair Bennett, the cousin of John Bennett, which you'll know is Mark Wahlberg's character throughout the films. In this show, he's a 16-year-old played by Max Burkholder, who does an excellent job playing him in the series as well. And I think, one thing that also really hit home for me and made me love the series even more is just where it takes place. You get the 90s nostalgia. The series takes place in 1993, which for me, coincidentally enough, is the same damn year I was born in. So that's obviously going to be, right up my alley right away. But I think, getting into the first episode, obviously I was comfortable with Ted because it's Seth MacFarlane, everything's familiar. But I think if there's a negative to the start of the series, it's probably just getting your feet wet, getting used to these new characters. Although, it's the same character in John Bennett that was friends with Ted. It's not Mark Wahlberg. It's a younger version. It's a 16-year-old version played by Max Burkholder. It's all new actors playing the parents that played, they had different actors as the parents in the films. So, it's completely new cast to kind of get used to. But I think if you give it the time it deserves, 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to be laughing. You're going to start to really like some of these actors. I think everyone involved here does a great job. I mentioned Wiggum and Burkholder, of course, Seth MacFarlane voicing Ted, Elena Albeck as the mom there, Susan Bennett, great job. She's really just so funny the way that her character is so peculiar throughout this entire series. It's going to make you laugh, just some of the ways that she plays things throughout the show. And then Matty Bennett, the father, he's kind of a similar character to Ted. So I think that Blair Bennett in a lot of ways is a good foil for him throughout this series as well. But just an awesome job, I think, not only being still funny with the Ted in the way that we're expecting, from the first 2 films, but those were both, a decade ago now. So you're bringing this back in 2024. It's a completely different time. You kind of wondered if they'd be able to do the same rated R shit, but they do. They bring you all of that, everything you loved about the Ted show, but then they also bring a good sense of morality to it with the foils to those characters. So you get, your funny stoner comedy shit that's going to make you laugh your ass off. So don't take this the wrong way when I'm saying there's some good morals to the show as well, and it brings forward some good themes about, kids going through puberty and, learning about the opposite sex, and men learning about women, women learning about men, learning to appreciate each other, all kinds of cool things. And then also you get some, like I said, 90s nostalgia. There's throwbacks, the OJ chase is in here on TV at one point, just different things that they talk about. You'll be like, oh shit, I remember that. And so that's a cool aspect to it as well. But, first and foremost, I want to lay down the groundwork. The bottom line that I'm sure you want to hear in this review is, hell yes, it's funny as fuck. You're going to laugh your ass off. I think episode 1 through episode 7, there may be, a couple episodes in there that you feel like aren't as funny, but I think one of the very funniest episodes is right off the top for me. The pilot episode, the first episode, whatever you want to fucking call it, was hilarious. You get the first time that Mark Wahlberg's character in the movie, John Bennett and Ted find weed, smoke it together and shit. So if that, something that you enjoy, that stoner comedy, you're going to get that aspect right off the jump in this series. So if you're into comedies, can't recommend this enough. It's something that we've been needing here, a rated R comedy, and this series delivers on that. So, I can't recommend Ted enough, guys. I'm going to share the IMDb with you guys to, show you guys the rating that it has on IMDb, just because it's actually funny enough. It goes hand in hand with what I was going to rate this show. And, before I even saw this IMDb rating, and that's an 8 out of 10 for me, guys. And that's what the average rating is right now, with over 5,500 ratings there on IMDb. So if you haven't yet, hop on Peacock, check out the new Ted miniseries. Just came out, 7 episodes in this first series, but it's funny as hell, really well executed. And like I said, actually, some decent themes involved as well. So I'm hoping that we get another season in the near future coming out on Peacock. But that's my review there for this Ted prequel series, just debuted this week out on Peacock. But those are just my thoughts on the show. Would love to hear yours. If you have seen it, be sure, let me know down in the comments. How did you feel about it? What's your rating on a scale of 1 to 10? And where would you rank it in the Ted installments in between, Ted 1, Ted 2, and now this prequel? What's your favorite out of the 3? I certainly might put this prequel as my favorite. It's a toss-up between it and the original Ted movie, but certainly a lot of fun to be had with this one. So check it out if you haven't already, and be back with another review here in the near future on JC's Pop Culture. As always, I'm JC. Later, film fans.